Oh, yeah, we are.
This meeting is being live streamed.
I did that twice in a row, 2 weeks in a row. Thought I turned my volume down. I didn't. Happy Saturday, man.
Happy Saturday to you. The second of 52 Saturdays. We've already done 100% of shows this year.
Nice. Go us.
Cheers to us. 100%. Neither of them have we been on time for, but we've done 100% of the year's shows so far.
At least we've been consistent.
Well, we've been consistent.
Well, we're consistent with what we have been last year with, 803.
And the year before. Like, it really is actually very good. It's the reality is that we are always late, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah, me too.
Because this show is really awesome, and it's one of the highlights of my week once we get here. Like this moment right now when I see your face and I'm like, okay, we're here. But I watched a video today, and I want to play it here first because I saw it midday, and I was like, OMG. So we're going to start with heavy, if that's all right. Is that okay?
Heck yeah.
Okay. First, quickly, Corey says, good evening. Hello, Lana says. So we're going to start with just the heavy because I saw this video and my day changed, and I'm grateful for it. So, of course, it came from TikTok because TikTok is my favorite thing in the world. So,
classic. Totally.
So here we go.
Be honest, who do you call when you're at your lowest? Who is that one person?
Nobody. I'm a man. No one cares. Not a single soul. Nobody. No one. Because I'm all alone. I think I speak for a lot of people when I say I don't call anyone.
Nobody. I'm a guy. Nobody gives a shit.
Speaking for the guys when I say this, literally no one.
You don't call someone? Nobody. Just nobody. No one to talk to. So no one. You can ask me. No one. I'm a man. No one cares.
No one. Not a single fucking person.
I wouldn't call anyone. I wouldn't turn to a single person on this earth because they don't care. They will just find a way to use it against me one day.
We can call somebody?
That last one.
So I watched that video. I saw that video today, and it was like, oof. And at first, my critical thinking brain kicked in first. I'm like, is this like a men's rights movement? Like no one likes us because we're men and we are disadvantaged because we're men. Like that was my first. I was like trying to process. Was it that? And maybe it was, and I just don't read into it that way. But I didn't. As I came to a conclusion, and I don't think it was. I think it was just a statement. And in fact, the intention of the video maker, I think, was not that. It didn't appear to be that when I looked at other videos, but that was unfortunately the first thought I went to, right? Like, is this like a bunch of guys who are like, oh, poor me, I'm a man and no one cares about me, like, and cares about other people more. But as I looked deeper and I thought more, I thought, no, that's actually pretty accurate. I think that video is, or could be, I'm not the only one who watched that video, I don't think, and thought, oh God, can be so true so much of the time. And I don't know if it's the gender stuff. Well, it is actually, I do know that. I do know that it is. But so the question she asked at the very beginning, if I can just ask that, this question.
Call when you are at your lowest. Who is that one person?
So are you able to answer that question?
I mean, yeah, but like no, because I just don't like doing phone calls and stuff. I don't like calling people, you know what I mean? I mean, you know, but like 100%, you are one of those people for sure. Like I can definitely think easily off the top of my head a handful of people that, you know, if I called, you know, if I went down the list, I'd eventually find someone that would answer and, you know, help me out, whether it, you know, whatever it was, no questions asked. Like I'm very fortunate to have, you know, not only one person, but I think a few people like that for sure.
Well, I think that the reality is, so the question is that there's a list, right? So that's impressive. That's a good starting place. So my harder question for you then is that would you use the list, or do you use the list?
And that's the question, right? No, 100% I do not.
And that's the thing, right? Because I think I can think of maybe 1 or 2 times in the last decade that I've picked up the phone and said, oh my God, I need this right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I'm going to presume, and I can't think of any immediately, but I'm going to presume there were many other moments though that I probably did need someone or need to talk to someone in that moment. And beyond like the 12-step groups I go to, or beyond counseling, or beyond group stuff, beyond ceremony, like in that moment. And so I was just curious about it, because I just curious, and for folks, for men watching at home, I'm just curious, like, do you have, like, that question is a powerful question. Like, that is, like, we need to be asking each other this question.
Be honest, who do you call when you were at your lowest? Who's that one person?
Well, I'm glad that you brought it up around using the list, because, like, to me, that's the real question, is like, you know, I always say stuff like, especially in our communities, you know, and with our First Nations people, but yeah, I really think that, you know, especially like growing up the res and just looking around, you know, observing your environment, like, everybody has someone for sure, 100%. Like, everyone has that day one, or that, you know, no questions asked person. But, you know, like you said, nobody is willing to use that or make that call, or even acknowledge the fact that there needs to be a call made. Yeah. Or that, yeah, like it's a whole basket.
Yeah. And feels like the number of people who feel like there isn't anyone they can call.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, the first step of things that maybe we can do. So here is my message, not to just you, but to men that I know, that please call. Because at the end of the day, one of the benefits of being in a 12-step program is that men have called me, right? And I have probably, in fact, called others as well in that space, right?
And just, can I sort of cut you off, but like, in that moment, when, say, like, you know, one of the people, say if you're sponsoring someone and they make that call, like, what's going through your head? Is it like, oh, I got to answer this call, oh, I got to talk to this person? Or is it like, wow, I'm so proud of this person for reaching out to me today? Like,
I'm so grateful, because the irony is that when someone calls, what it does is it role models it to me, right?
mm-hmm.
Like, when I see that courage in action, and that's the thing, and I think for men and women in general, I think all people, there is a level of courage in reaching out and asking for help and saying, I'm not okay. And you know, one of the things that's interesting, I think about it, today I had an off day today, and I had a long week. And you know what I was feeling today? And when I watched this video, I knew today, I was already feeling this today. And I watched this video and I realized that this is why we started this show, right?
Yeah.
Like, we've had a lot of amazing guests, a lot of laughs. We've given away a lot of money. We've been able to support people and lift people up. And those things are all awesome. But we really started this show to talk about stuff and create space for people to talk. And so today, when I saw that video, that wasn't the thought I had. Because what I was thinking in my head this week is, and I'm aware, we need to be clear, this is not truth. This is just dirty thinking and feeling that comes from it. Is I'm like, my God, have I ever failed with this show? Like this, I just mess it up every week. And I'm not saying that for people to tell us how great it is, because we already know. Like, we know this is awesome. But in that moment, the feelings that I was having was, because I get all of these great ideas, and the ideas don't always make it from my head to reality. And that's okay. Like, it's okay that's like, but the problem is that in that moment when I watched this video today, I was feeling like this show was, I had failed the show. Not that the show was a failure, but that I had failed it week after week after week after week. And the reality is that that's not, there's some truth in the sense that there's been times I've dropped the ball, but that's different than failing. But in that moment, if I hadn't watched this video, I would have never verbally put that in the universe tonight here. Like, and I would have never called someone and asked or said, like, oh, this is what I'm feeling right now. Like,
so how did you get through that and navigate that? Like, how did you come to the conclusion that, like, this is a great show? And like, how did you pick yourself back up from that conversation?
Well, because it was honestly, it was that video. I watched it and I thought, and I woke up this morning at 5:30 like I normally do. I got back to sleep, thankfully. I woke up at 7. I made it from my couch at 7 from my bed to the couch. As you know, I've been working really hard at taking care of myself. I'm super stoked. This lovely shirt from She Native, when I bought it, it didn't fit me. And now it does today.
It looks loose.
Totally. And it's loose. Like, there's like, I could have another person. Well,
good for you, man. That's awesome.
Person, but maybe I could have a burger and still fit. But
burger might be better.
But today might be one of the first days in a long time that I don't get all of my fancy like watch circles filled. And I'm okay with it.
Wow.
Like,
and
I'm
okay with that.
I'm totally okay with it. Like, I was on the couch today, and so when I woke up and I was feeling off in general, I moved to the couch. I played a video game on my phone for, embarrassingly to say, hours.
What game was it?
It's the only game I know how to play. It is called Toon Blast. I think it's relatively popular. It's the only game I know how to play. That and Cribbage are the two games on my phone.
Classic.
But at the end of the day, the reality is that I was doing that because I needed just to do nothing, right? I couldn't, like, even when my friend came upstairs and he was getting his coffee and stuff, and he was listening to a podcast, right? And I had to go to the other room because even the podcast in that moment, like, I even just listening to it for a millisecond was like, and it wasn't him. It's not a him issue. It was a me issue, right? Like
sensory overload.
It was just like, just even that little listening just for a second, because I wasn't hearing it, but it was, so that was where I was at. But I did the things that I needed to do to take care of myself. Like, I did nothing. I just let my brain relax.
I think that's a really important language. You let yourself do it.
Yeah.
Like, you didn't do it. You let yourself do it.
And hated it at the time, because then I'm like, oh my God, I got so much to do. I could do this. I could do this. I could do this. Blah, 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 until I just like sat on that phone and just played, and then watched it took me from then until 2 in the afternoon to watch 2 episodes of TV, because I just couldn't focus, right? But those things are okay. Like, they're okay to have those things. And so to answer your question, how did I get through it? Is I'm like, I know what we're going to start to, I know what we're going to talk about tonight. We're going to talk about the fact that this is the world we live in, right? Like, sometimes it's hard. Mello says, this is a difficult topic, and this is why we need to allow people to have the space to feel safe, comfortable, courageous, and willing to reach out. Yeah. Linda says, men aren't supposed to have heart-to-heart talks. They're not supposed to have emotions as per society, and it is wrong. Totally, yeah. And so the reality is that that's the heavy stuff to start. That was really good though for me. So when I say all of this, I loved this stuff. Not in the moment. I did not like it at 11 o'clock this morning when I was like, oh, like very outward, like no one is around me. And I'm like, oh. Like, but I'm allowed to feel that way sometimes, and it's okay. And I knew I would talk about it here. And so I am going to work on this in the future. I've got a list as well. I'm going to work on using that list. And I hope folks know, and particularly other men know, that if they are needing to chat, that they're welcome to call anytime.
So what's your first tip for someone that wants to start doing that, but maybe doesn't, wants to do it, but doesn't feel like they want to do it?
Well, you practice. You start calling people to see how they are.
Oh, interesting.
Like, because if we start to do that, right? If we start to reach out ourselves to see how our people are, it also means that our relationships can, because I think one of the things is burden, right? A lot of people don't reach out. They don't want to be a burden. And people have used that language with me, and I say it every time. You are so not a burden. It is a privilege when someone reaches out, asks. And the beautiful thing is that sometimes I'll say, how are you, or how are you doing? Or we'll just talk about nothing. Like a phone call where we don't ask something of someone else, right? Like those moments really matter. Like, so I think practicing it in that way, so that when the time comes where I'm struggling or someone's struggling, they can pick up the phone and be like, hey, can we chat for a second? And the other second tip is, and this seems silly, and I know it seems silly, I'm not unaware of it, but practice. Like, even if you're not calling someone, but literally lift the phone to your ear and say, can we talk? I just need to chat for a second. Like, say the words out loud. Like, how long were you playing lacrosse before you were pretty good at it?
Like 4 years, probably.
So why would this be any different, right?
Oh, dang. That's a good point.
Like, we have to practice these things, even if it seems silly and ridiculous, right? Like, it's why people have been told forever to look in the mirror, right? And say, you're deadly, like, or whatever, right? Like,
it's funny you made that comparison with lacrosse, because like when I first started lacrosse, I actually really hated it. Like, I didn't enjoy it. It was like too physical for me. I was small. Like, I was scared of the ball. Like, I just hated being on the floor. Like, I felt like I hated it. But then once I got better, I love it now. It's everything to me. So it's really cool that you yeah, that's interesting.
Well, and that analogy is perfect, right? Like, that's exactly it. It's we're afraid, we're uncomfortable, we don't know how, we're embarrassed, we're all those things, right? And then we get better, and then we kick ass. Seems doable. So,
I like it.
If you're watching at home, I'll give you Brendan's phone number. Call him. He likes calls at 3 a.m. It is the downfall that I have in this story, though, as being a helper to someone to receive those calls, is that once I'm asleep, like you'd have to call me 3 times in a row for me to hear the phone. So
that's my thing too. Is I check my phone a lot, but that's because it's on silent 24/7. Like, my phone doesn't ring, my phone doesn't buzz, nothing, doesn't vibrate.
Oh,
I'm
aware of that.
Yeah. And I mean, people get mad at me all the time for it, but like, well, that's just my balance. That's what I need to be able to, do that, I guess.
Yeah, Kimmy D for years never had her phone turned on, and it drove me bananas, first of all, to be honest. But long and short of it, it was she now has it ringing. I think the new phone rings. I think. Very quickly, we shared it on our Facebook page this week, and I just want to really quickly share this with folks who are watching. If you're watching today here in Ontario, in Northern Ontario, you can see up on this little map here This is really far north. It's Bearskin Lake First Nation. They have more than half of their very small nation is infected with COVID-19. Their chief has declared a state of emergency. You may have seen it on the news. It's made big news for a couple of reasons. And one is that it is devastating. And I'm not sure today. So I think today, I don't know if there was updates or not, but it was 210 people now have tested positive in a community of 400. And
that's terrifying.
It is terrifying. And so they've been calling for the military to come and help them. My understanding is that they were calling for it publicly, and Kimmy D says, well, to be honest, I'm a teacher and I generally keep it on silent. For the record, for the years I've known her, she just started to learn to be a teacher. So that's been, yeah, but needless to say. So it does look like, though, the military is going to be going to help them. But they've also started this fund here, Leonard Brown from the First Nation has started a GoFundMe page. I want to point this out right here, ladies and gentlemen. Right here. The Van City Reynolds stepped up and helped out. So be like Ryan, and you don't have to send $5,000, but you can send $10, you can send $20. If you bought a coffee from Tim Hortons, Starbucks, McDonald's in the last 30 days, I believe that you can go on to GoFundMe and you can put $5, $10 towards this. They're needing support, particularly with getting food there. When you have a community of 400 that is the majority of whom are in isolation, it's things like getting firewood. The other night it was -40 there. So they're really needing supports and resources. Our friend Tanya Cameron, who was on, right, with the Period Poverty campaign, again, she rocked the house and sent up thousands of dollars of raised dollars. And I might be mistaken, but I believe a young woman raised $10,000 to go up there. A young woman, a Thunder Bay First Nations woman. And so it's just amazing. People are rallying around the nation. There was an interesting comment, I thought, on Twitter, which was from a Canadian, who just said, I'm really sorry that you have to rely on charity. And it wasn't being facetious. But this is if you Google this right here, Bearskin Lake, COVID-19 outbreak, state of emergency, you too can stand alongside them, or you can find the link right above on our page here as well. I hope that you're able to join us and stand alongside our relations in Bearskin Lake. And because thoughts and prayers, you know what, they're not always enough. And sometimes we just need to do what we can do. And if you're not able to give dollars, share it on your Facebook page, share it on Twitter, share it on Instagram. Just make sure that message gets out there that our Northern relations are needing our support and to stand alongside us. And if you're not Indigenous and you talk about reconciliation, this is a path. This is an example of this doesn't solve and fix all of the world's problems, but this is what allyship looks like. And it's stepping up when we need to, and as humans. And so, yeah, I encourage you. Hopefully those case numbers start to drop in the nation. Hopefully there is the consequences of something like this within the nation itself, right? The systems that are in place for kids in schools, for seniors and elders, for the band office itself, just making sure that at the end of the day, people are staying as safe as possible. And a real reminder of two things, I think, and this is just my take. I don't know, yours might be, Brennan, but one is that the serious risk that First Nations and Indigenous peoples have been prioritized quite well throughout COVID-19 in lots of areas and spaces. Yeah. But it reminds us that there's still so much to do. But it also reminds us of the systemic challenges that exist in getting the supports and the resources, and how those relationships, those nation to nation relationships, still have so far to go. That the processes that are in place clearly aren't working. And but we send our thoughts and prayers and money to our friends in North Caribou Lake. And so if you can, join us. And yeah, there's that.
Help out if you can.
Help out if you can. You know what's coming up in a couple of days there, or in maybe a week or so here in Kingston?
In Kingston? The Reelout Festival?
Yes, it is. It is. Ladies and gentlemen, Three Things Consulting is proud to, really proud. And I like to link to the pride context to be the presenting sponsor of this year's Reelout Queer Film Festival. Yet again, international points of view. They are having some fantastic, absolutely brilliant showcases and screenings. It is, of course, virtual because of the state of emergency that we're all in currently. And in Ontario, you can watch it from anywhere in Ontario. And I think there might be some that you can watch as well nationally as well. So the festival, Reelout Arts Project, if you Google that, you can find the program. It is coming up soon. I just want to read you something, though, which is really cool. And which is, here we go. Where did it go? Sorry.
Pain.
Where did it go? I just read a great tweet. Sorry. I literally was on top of it earlier in the day. Oh, here we go. Is this it here? Is this it? Because on the 27th, when the festival starts, there is a really two fantastic video films that are being shared. And oh my goodness, I apologize. I can't.
Is that when it premieres on the 27th?
Exactly. Yeah, premieres on the 27th. And there was a sneak peek on their Twitter account. I'm sure it was their Twitter account. Nonetheless, it's a Migma artist and film that's going to play a two-spirited film, film created by two-spirited creators. Migma creators is premiering the night that we launch the gala.
Is that Wildhood?
It is Wildhood, yeah.
Cool.
And so we're super stoked. And here it is. It is just great. Stupid for You takes place. So this is, okay, here we go. 2 special opening night selections presented by our title sponsor, Three Things Consulting. Hey, guess what? That's you and I. That's us. Stupid for You takes place on the traditional territories of the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples. And Wildhood takes place on the unceded and ancestral homeland of the Migma Nation. So yes, opening nights, Thursday, January 27th. Hopefully you'll join us. And as we celebrate and kick off another Reelout, we're so grateful for the volunteers and staff at Reelout for the work that they do. It matters so much. And so
super awesome.
From film festivals to film stars, should we invite our guest to join us?
I think so. Speaking of Migma actors, entertainers.
Actors? You know you're a real actor when you say actor. Oh, look at that. Your brother has a beard. Your brother has a very fancy goatee.
Yeah, well, you know what the camera puts on a few years, right? That's what he says.
Puts on a few years.
There you go.
Oh,
hey,
clean shaven.
You shaved your goatee.
I wasn't sure when to join. I was just waiting for the time to pass by, and I was like, do I join now? There.
Well, here you are. Welcome. You might not have seen it, but you're the profile picture on this account is, of course, your dad. And
yeah.
You were joking that you had a goatee. So, first of all, maybe Brennan can introduce you. Let's start there.
Yeah, so I'll introduce my baby brother here, Brady Googoo, Brady Frederick Solon Googoo. Solon is Charles and Migma. But yeah, my baby brother, he was one of the very first guests on Come Walk With Us.
I think he was the first guest. I think it was the very first show.
Yeah, our very first show.
Our very first show.
Yeah.
And you were and you literally, Brady, I think got us the next 100 viewers for the next 3 weeks, and then they were very disappointed and then never came back. So I'm hoping that your presence here tonight does the same thing for us, because they loved you that first night that when we launched this show. And
Yeah, I got a lot of comments on that.
Oh, totally. And now you're at least 2 feet taller.
Yeah. I grew about half a foot.
Because the last time we could only see your forehead. But in fairness, Zoom was just new then, so we saw a lot of foreheads at that time.
That's crazy. 2 years ago. And I mean, so what? 2 years ago, what were you doing, Brady? Were you even thinking about acting? Were you like, what were you doing? What were you focused on?
2 years ago, it was maybe 2 or 3 years ago when I actually did my first gig, and 2 years ago I had no worries in the world. All I did was play Fortnite, and at the time that was its prime. And I didn't really care about the future. I just cared about the present and like what I was gonna do that day, or if I was gonna play a game or not.
That's interesting.
Now at that point, so sorry, can I just to quickly, and I'll give it right back to you. I just want to just double check to make sure that this is the era of time that we're talking about here. So give me 1 second, because you're a brave young man who, and I think your parents are supportive. I'm sure of that. But you're a brave young man because I think that your parents might have helped you create a sort of a like a bio and such, right?
Yes.
Is that right? So I don't know if you know this or not, but this is the first picture that we were able to pick from when
Baby Brady boy.
So yeah, so I just wanted to share that because I think that this is a little after this era, but you were a little taller when we first met. But
you just got longer hair now.
But yeah, sorry, Brendan. Back to you. I apologize. I was thrilled with that picture.
No, it's fine. That's funny. That's super funny. Well, we had another picture. We were gonna. I don't know. I don't think I sent it to you, but there's another picture of Brady. He was probably younger than that. We were at Disney, and he had like a little Ewok hat on. He looked like a little Ewok. It was funny.
I was probably 5 then, 5 or 6.
Yeah. So, like, you had no care in the world. Which, I mean, that's normal for kids. I miss that. I really do. But so like, you go into a pandemic, COVID-19, and you experience all that. And do you think that has a lot to do with you, quote unquote, just not having to worry all the time now? Like you said, like, I mean, you said back then, you didn't have a worry in the world, which to me implies that you probably worry a little bit now, which is normal. But again, like, do you think COVID had a lot to do with that?
Oh, yeah, COVID, because like COVID changed me a lot. Like at the start of COVID, no worries in the world, no, but now I've definitely matured a lot, and it's I definitely worry a lot more about the future and a lot of things as well.
That's thank you for sharing that, Brady. How old are you now?
13.
13.
So still young.
You are still young. Yes, you are.
Still a baby.
And so that's interesting, because what I think is interesting, and actually it's not even about interesting, it's actually disappointing in this country, is that, and either as First Nations folks, we haven't, Indigenous people, I don't think collectively have, Canadians collectively haven't, we haven't created spaces for young folks your age to talk about COVID in a serious way, I don't believe. And if it's happened, we're not sharing it with others, because I get a lot of stuff across my desk and I've not seen or heard of a real process of creating space for young folks like you to talk about what this experience has been like. And not to put you on the spot, because it's a hard question, but if you could describe one feeling word that sums up your last 2 years as it relates to COVID, can you think of a word that you would use to describe these last 2 years?
Maybe unexpected. I definitely did not expect any of this. Like, my lifestyle and the way I do things has definitely changed so much. Like in 6th grade, I wasn't really exactly smart. Now I'm a straight A student now. And I didn't think that. Like, I didn't think I would be able to have these things. And yeah, unexpected. Just a lot of things surprise me now that it's crazy.
Yeah. Now, do you think then that throughout COVID has your ability to like, because there's a lot of stuff that I imagine you haven't been able to do in the last 2 years that you normally would have, right? In that age is from 11 to 13. Like, lots of sports stuff got canceled, right? Or shut down.
Oh, yeah.
School stuff, a lot of school plays, like a lot of different things that other times in the world you would have been able to participate in. You haven't had that opportunity. Is that a fair assessment?
Yes.
So do you think that's led you to be able to be more active around school work? Like, is that a silver lining of the last couple of years?
Say that again.
Well, I'm just curious because I'm just wondering if you said you're now a straight A student. So has the lack of all the other things that normally you might be involved with, by not doing them, has it meant that you focused more on school?
Generally not. It's just
good to know.
Yeah, because last year was my favorite school year ever. I had awesome teachers, awesome classmates, and when I like school, I do well at school, and that was like one of my best years, and I loved it. And that was my best year academically and mentally. It was a good time that year. Awesome. I had straight A's, one of the smartest kids in the grade, and it was a good year, and that definitely got me to my point now.
Awesome. And that was grade 7?
Yes.
And just so you know, statistically speaking, science tells us kids who do really well in grade 7 do very well the rest of their lives, like in academically. And I'm being serious. Like, young people who succeed in grade 7 will find things like high school much easier, university much easier. Yeah. So cool. Let's talk about your side hustle or side hustles, right? So,
yeah. Well, I mean, it like you've been a hustler. You've been a little side hustler, right? Since what before you were in school, or what were you in? Was it when you were in elementary school? You asked for all these things for Christmas, so that you could make was it arcade or a casino?
Yeah.
In the house.
Arcade, yeah.
Tell us about that.
Geez, that was a long time ago. Maybe like 4 or 5 years ago, or something like that. Yeah, I asked for. I was watching this guy on YouTube called Arcade Creanics or something like that, and it got me obsessed with. I was like, I wanted to start my own arcade. This seems so cool. So I asked for a mini claw machine. I was like, I also saw this other video called Kane's Arcade, where he started his DIY small mini arcade when he was 9. And I was like a bit younger than that around that when I saw that, and that fascinated me. And I wanted to do something like that. I was like, I could turn this into a way to make money. So I asked for mini claw machine, mini arcade games, just like that, and just put it all downstairs, and I'll charge my friends and family to use them.
That's awesome.
Yeah, nobody got discount, no nothing. Everybody paid the same. You lose all your money, you lose to the house.
That is so cool, Brady. I thought that Kane and from Kane's Arcade was phenomenal. I thought he was the documentary is about 11 minutes or so, and it's certainly worth watching if you don't know what we're talking about. Kane's Arcade, Caines. It is terrific. It was and I like the fact that yours had more of a casino feel. That seems more attractive to me. But that is amazing. That's thrilling that you saw that video and saw those people and recreated. How old would you have been then? Give or take.
Maybe 8 or 9.
Awesome.
Like something like that.
The best part about that is I think one of our great aunt Cathy's came over.
I know what he's gonna say.
Yeah, do you want to tell it?
So the casino part came from I had a milk carton, a piece of cardboard, and nails. I put the piece of cardboard, I made it into a circle, and put on the milk carton cap and put nails through it and made an arrow. So it would be like one of those spin machines or whatever. Like you could spin it and like see what prize you get. And I charged 25 cents per spin. And there would be multiple prizes. It would be lose all your money, get 50 cents, $1. And the best prize was $20. And one person won that. And that was my great aunt Kathy, who won that. And usually the people like who would win money, like for example $5, they would keep on playing. But I tried convincing her to keep on playing, but she was like
she cashed right out.
She cashed out. She was smart. And, at that age, I was devastated and I cried.
Yeah. You got hustled by an OG hustler.
Well, and your mom points out that you shut that down after Aunt Kathy got the jackpot. We're done. I'm out.
Lessons learned. Cut your losses.
Oh, that's awesome. So you
and then
go Brendan. Go.
I was just gonna say, and then what? And then you went on to junior high and started selling. What were you selling? Candy?
Yeah, I was selling candy.
You got suspended?
No, actually. Did get in trouble sometimes where I was caught, but that was at the start when I started selling, but the teachers stopped caring. And a few teachers actually started buying from me.
That's amazing. So what were you selling?
I was selling mini chocolate bars, lollipops, Fun Dip, whatever I could get at a good price, I would sell.
That's gangster. Good. And now, and so now, fast forward to now. You know, what's your side hustle now? What are you doing? How you making? You know, what's on your mind?
With COVID, it's very difficult to really do any like service jobs or like I could do service jobs. I have been doing some like help around with for like clean stuff, clean cars, the outside selling cans. I do some of that stuff now, but it's very difficult to do anything else with COVID going on.
But you have found a few things to do during.
Oh yeah, acting definitely is good side hustle, but it's definitely hard to find gigs in Nova Scotia.
Now, so you're finding that, to be true?
Huh?
You're finding that, you're finding it's difficult to get there, to find opportunities for television? Through
my 3-4, I think it's 3 years or 4 years I've done this, and I only found I think 4 gigs. It's very difficult to find them in Nova Scotia. I usually get a audition maybe once every year or so.
And so so this is something. So acting. Let's just chat about acting. When did you first act? What was the first thing you acted in? You remember that?
The first officially acting was Alaskan Triangle, but I sometimes I count, sometimes I don't count, but that is the Powerless video.
That is.
Yeah, Powerless by Classified in that music video.
Can we hold on 1 second? Can I just want to share this clip of it. We'll play the whole thing because we'll get roughed up by Facebook. But if I'm not mistaken, and we would certainly recommend folks at home, you find this video. It's a powerful, powerful song by Classified, who's a prominent East Coast hip hop artist. And I think we're going to see our friend Brady here in a moment. Am I right?
Yep.
That's you at the top of the screen. I think you're in another little bit there as well. I think there's a little close up of you, I think, as well. I saw. Oh, there we go. Look at that. So when was this? This is 2018?
Yeah.
Well, that is fantastic. That is absolutely awesome to see you in that video. What was that like? So when you got, was that one of your first opportunities to be in?
That I think I'm not sure if that was before the Atlantic Triangle or after, but maybe before, because I remember being like wowed, like being like looking at the cameras and stuff and being like thinking this is cool.
Yeah.
But you weren't so wowed by who you were working with, though, were you? Classified at the time?
Oh no, I didn't know about Classified then.
Yeah.
I knew his songs, but I didn't know about him. Like Inner Ninja, I loved that song as a kid. And when I learned that he made that song, I was like, what? Like I was blown away.
Yeah, there's a CBC article here and it quotes you I think he's famous. I'm not really sure. It's like, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's what artists like to hear.
Yeah. But I really like that quote because like it still reflects who you are. Like you're still genuinely yourself. Like you're still unapologetically you. And this is something that I really, really admire about both you and Maddie. You know, you're both my younger siblings, and I know it's my job as an older sibling to like inspire you guys, motivate you guys, and set a good example. But like you guys, it's funny because you guys do that for me like crazy. Like both you and Maddie, you guys are both very yourselves, and yeah, like you guys are you, and you guys do what you want to do, and you guys are who you want to be, and like it's so cool that like that's something that I struggle with so hard growing up, and like you guys, yeah, like you guys are just like living your true selves. So cool. I just really wanted to share that with you.
One thing I want to share is about how you would always like inspire us and like teach us, like mentor us. Me and Maddie both growing up, we would call you Wise Brennan. We always thought of you as wise. I just want to say that. I thought that was funny.
Lovely.
I think we're having a little love fest here, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. It is when my brother came on the show, just so you know, Brady, we didn't talk like this. First of all, it was accidental. He didn't know that he was on the show. Remember that, Brennan? They're like, they just thought they were Zooming with us. Yeah. Like, oh, like this is live? Oh.
Yeah. Oh.
So, yeah, but that's awesome to see that those relationships, because they matter so much. Now we've been talking about having you join us again for a while, because I'm trying to think. I was back here, so this was since July, somewhere between July and now, because it all melts together. I'm not sure when, but you were one of the stars of Migma Stories, right? Past and present.
Yes.
The stage production.
I played Eki and Young Peter.
Well, and I'm going to tell you this, is that the reason we wanted you to come on this show is that, now this is not to take away from anyone else who was involved in that production, but you were absolutely brilliant.
Thank you.
You carried yourself in a way that you just don't see in young artists every day. And I've been around young people and young artists and emerging artists for a long time. And when I watched that production, it was, you owned that space. And I wasn't really aware of the other stuff you had done necessarily, right? I knew that you had, I was guessing that you had gotten a lot of confidence from dancing, I'm assuming, right?
Oh yeah, that definitely gave me confidence to go in big crowds and such.
Yeah, and it's a reminder for families on why those traditional activities, right? Why they're so important. Not that you're going to get your kids into powwow dancing so that they're going to be a movie star, but getting them into those cultural activities because it builds confidence. Would you agree?
Yeah, definitely. Especially as a traditional dancer, there wasn't many traditional dancers, and especially at my age, there was practically none. So whenever traditional dancers will be on, for example, my age group, it'll generally be me or one other person on in front of a whole crowd, and that what gave me confidence, definitry.
I'm guessing then the competition powwow is you clean house.
Yeah.
Your age group. So sorry, yeah, Brennan.
I was just laughing. I wasn't saying anything.
So when I watched that performance, and I watched it, I wasn't there in person, but I did get to watch it on 90 inches. And so I had a pretty good view. And it was a really interesting way to watch a play. Just first of all, as someone who loves the theater and goes regularly, or regularly-ish, it is, when I watched your performance, it was from your face to the way you positioned your body, the way you communicated it. And I think there was a moment where there was, and I might be mistaken because it was a while ago, but there was a moment where there was a guffaw, something, either there was something like a little mess up or something for a moment. Am I right? Am I remembering that correctly?
I'm not, what,
I don't remember what it was.
It would have been the first day, where you guys did it live when we were there watching.
Can you say which part?
Yeah, I can't remember, but something happened that wasn't supposed to happen, and you literally just rolled with it so wonderfully, and that.
Oh, are you talking about the script? Because there was definitely a lot of parts in the script where some other act we'll mess up our lines and or say something we'd have to improvise to go along with that, and that was definitely one of the hard parts while going to the play, having to improvise to go along. The other actors who improvised did awesome. They did a great job at improvising.
Well, and so did you. It was just when watching it, and again, those are gifts that come with that not everybody has, just so you know. Those are gifts that not every person carries. What you did that day, how did it feel when that show wrapped? When that show wrapped up?
We did 3 shows, and are you talking about the first show or the last
all
show?
of them. Once you finished that production overall, how did you feel? What was the feeling like?
Getting that done, it felt, I never really felt that feeling before. You're done, because I've spent so much time with these actors, and we only met once after that to film the thing. And after that, it was we're done. It was just crazy to me how all I could think was how great of a job we all did, how great of a job the actors did, and just kind of being blown away, just like thinking, I did this, like, and I didn't mess up. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm curious to know, just when you talk about that feeling once it all wrapped up and you're like, oh, like, was it like a we're done? Like, oh, now we're done. Did you feel like something was missing in that moment after it was done?
It was kind of felt with like a bit of sadness and a bit of excitement. Because the sadness felt like we're done. We're probably not gonna see each other again. And like it was a fun time. And the excitement came was the final paycheck coming.
Yeah, you're pretty pumped about that, eh?
Yeah, definitely.
So, but does that sound familiar to you, Brennan, around events?
Oh, 100%. Like what you're talking, like the feeling you're describing is like exactly what I went through when I like finished my first project with Peter. 100%.
Like I want you to know that feeling is really natural. Like, because it does feel like there's something missing, at least for me. Like or I think about the people that I've just spent this intense, emotional, powerful experience with. And then I think about them like, oh, I wonder what they're doing. Oh, I wonder if, it's this, it is.
Because your spirit is now connected, right?
Yes.
And that's the beauty of being an artist, right? Is that you get those feelings. And so the reason I asked that is that if you're able to, if you are able to own that feeling, right? Because I don't know if you've noticed this or not, or you've seen, but child actors, some have gone on to great things. Some have been headlines in the National Enquirer. And there's a whole chunk of folks in the middle, right? And I guess the reason I ask that is that I think the folks that end up on the Enquirer can't manage that feeling. And equally, though, say those who are rising up and are prominent, they can't handle that feeling either. And so the difficulty is for young people who are in the entertainment industry, in my armchair assessment, is that there's not always the piece around helping process the feelings that come with what you're doing. Because that feeling of being on stage is pretty awesome, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, like I love it. Like it literally is an injection into my body. I can feel it in my body. Like, I don't know if that sounds familiar, but like when you're on stage and people are clapping, what does that do for you?
That when they would clap it, I would just have like big smiles, and it would make me genuinely happy, and be like, think of myself, knowing to myself that I did a great job, and these people are applauding me for it, and it's a feeling kind of hard to explain. Well, personally for me, it's hard to explain, but I don't know. So it's kind of weird.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? It's a weird feeling because you feel really good. And so the trick is to make sure if this is, because I'm assuming, is it a fair assumption this is something that you might want to continue to do or pursue?
I wouldn't want to like pursue it as a career path, but I definitely still want to do it for like the fun of it, and obviously as a side hustle. But
I'm on Disney as a side. My Disney job is a side hustle. Imagine your mother's excitement if you were on a Disney TV show.
If I get on something big, then I'll think about taking it as a career path.
You know, Disney is bringing a production to Nova Scotia, I think, next year.
Disney is?
auditions opening up through Hennessy Casting.
I'm gonna have to check that out.
Like your mother, I'm right that your mother is we'll use the term fan of Disney, correct?
Yes. Yeah, definitely.
I was being polite and I didn't add anything to the end of the word fan. And so, yeah, imagine that. Goodness gracious. So I wasn't sure if this was what your path was or not, but Brennan, what do I love? What is it that I love?
You love TikTok.
I love the TikToks. And so we have a little compilation to share, and these might be helpful for you. They might not be, but you would be stunned at the number of former child actors, who now have a home on TikTok. They have a platform again. And these seem to be, the majority of these or all of them that I found really seem to be the ones who were able to manage those feelings and move on in their life, right? But they've got some good tips and tricks and such. And so if it's helpful for you and interesting for the folks at home, we're going to play a quick little TikToks video that talks about child actors. Sound all right?
Yep.
Okay, here we go. I think this is, there we go.
A child or young teenage actor, keep watching. Today, I'm sharing 3 pieces of advice that I know now that I wish I knew as a young child actor. I started acting professionally in the industry when I was around 11 or 12 years old, so this is a lot of lessons I've learned over the years. A lot of you may remember me best as Tess from Life with Boys. Piece of advice number 1, it's not about being the most talented person in the room, it's about being the most professional. Talent will only get you so far, but work ethic and bringing a great attitude to set will get you much further. Piece of advice number 2, don't get so caught up in the aesthetics of the industry. It's really easy to compare yourself to other actors, to think you're not skinny enough, not cool enough, not talented enough. Stay in your lane, stay focused, keep working hard, it'll pay off. And finally, piece of advice number 3, this is a marathon, not a sprint. Focus on the longevity of your career. This is only the beginning. Enjoy the process. Enjoy the road.
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Natalie Portman.
Christian Bale.
Emma Stone.
Many of you guys probably already know this, but I was a child actress growing up, which meant I went on like hundreds, maybe thousands of auditions. So a lot of times in these auditions, they'll just ask random questions for you to answer so that they can see your personality and see how much you talk and how you look on camera. Usually they want super outgoing kids that are not shy at all, so you're advised to talk as much as possible. At one audition in particular, it was a family job, and they told all the kids to respond to the question that they gave us with no. It was like, did you know that Dr. Seuss's real name isn't actually Dr. Seuss? And then the parents were supposed to go on about whatever they wanted. But for some reason, I was like, okay, you always have to say more than just a one-word answer. So instead of saying no, like I was supposed to, I said, actually, you know what? I did, because at my elementary, we had a day about Dr. Seuss, and we learned all about this. And my mom was furious. She yelled at me the whole way home because I could not listen to directions, and I was supposed to say no. I ended up booking the job, and they loved me. So just goes to show, you don't know.
I could be brown, I could be blue, I could be violet sky, I could be hurtful, I could be purple, I could be anything you like. I could be brown, I could be blue, I could be violet sky, I could be hurtful, I could be purple, I could be anything you like. I could be brown, I could be blue, I could be violet sky, I could be hurtful, I could be purple, I could be anything you like. I could be brown, I could be blue, I could be violet sky, I could be hurtful, I could be purple, I could be anything you like. I could be brown, I could be blue, I could be violet sky, I could be hurtful, I could be purple, I could be anything you like. I could be brown, I could be blue, I could be violet sky, I could be hurtful, I could be purple, I could be anything you like. I run it up, they busy running out, oh, real ass, rich ass.
Creek, but I have no idea what it's about. I know I was only 7, but even to this day, I've only ever seen my episodes. Like, I just found out the show was set in New England. Since when? People would say, like, inside jokes about the show to me, and I would just be like, I have no idea what you're talking about. Like, this one guy was like, oh, I bet you don't like ice cream now. What does that mean? Also, you're welcome for the what's a soulmate sound.
Hearing of rude celebrities. Have you or anyone you know ever shared a nice experience with a celebrity?
So I'm an actor, but I was a pretty successful child actor. I did a bunch of movies when I was a kid. Nancy Drew and Ace Ventura Jr. and Greatest Game Ever Played. But I want to talk about this movie, License to Wed. It was a rom-com with John Krasinski and Mandy Moore, who are also incredible and amazing people. But I want to talk about Robin Williams. So that's me, and there's the legend. In the 2 months that we worked together, Robin taught me everything that I know about comedy and professionalism and being kind to people on set. He was the funniest, sweetest, smartest person on the planet. I don't care what anybody else says, a genius and the kindest man. At the end of filming, Robin came to my trailer and he gave me a gift. It was a signed copy of the Groucho letters signed by Groucho Marx. If you don't know who the Marx Brothers are, look them up, legendary comedians. He said someone gave it to him because he reminded them of Groucho. And Robin gave it to me and said it's because that I reminded him of him.
Don't get too comfortable, sweetheart. I was his everything once too. You told me that I'm not
Oh, goodness. I love that it doesn't matter who the guest is and what the topic is. We can find TikTok videos for that topic.
What a beautiful website. Thank you, China.
So, thank you, China. So, I don't know if any of those were helpful or amusing. I thought the one with the guy from Harry Potter was very funny.
Oh, that was funny,
yeah, I thought that is too.
But at the end of the day, if it's something that you're interested in doing, do you have an idea of? Oh, sorry. I want to read some comments quickly for you. Brady sounds like he was born with natural stage presence. It's very rare. I agree. Just watching him on here shows how professional and at ease he is in front of a camera. Totally. And it kind of drives me nuts that you're like, look the best of all of us too. I'm mildly annoyed by that. And
Peter, I think you look great.
Thank you, sir. Do you hear that, Brennan? Did you hear that?
I did.
Do you know what happens on this show, Brady? Everyone always tells Brady how great he is and how great he looks and how smart he is. And then like 3 comments there later, they're like, oh yeah, Peter, I like your ... hat. Mello says Brady auditioned for a McDonald's commercial once. Do you remember
that is a funny story. I like to talk about once. It was my first audition. It was for kids to go on a farm. I remember the audition. It was me and 3 other kids in a room, and there's a guy asking questions like, there are questions I knew, but as a kid, I was like, I know these questions, but I'm gonna play it off like I don't know these questions. Like they're saying, like, do you know where meat comes from? And like I obviously knew there's cows. It's pretty obvious. Like they're looking for city kids, and so I tried to play it off, and it was like, I don't know, and but what made me probably most likely lose the job was at the end they asked, do I like McDonald's? And at the time I did not go McDonald's much, and I said, you know, I do not like McDonald's. It's disgusting. I still get mad at myself thinking about it.
I'm guessing we're not going to play a clip of you in a McDonald's ad.
Not anytime soon.
You should have clipped that and sent it to Wendy's or something.
And there's Charlotte, but I think Brennan is handsome too. There we go. Although Sissy says, yeah, but Brennan is a young Indigenous person who needs the praise and encouragement. Sorry, Peter, not your turn.
See, I need it, Peter.
Well, that one hurts my feelings. What if you're an old Indigenous person who needs to praise and encouragement?
I guess you got to ask for it.
Yeah, you got to ask for it. Either way, I liked the one video I did like is the one with the child actors who were all won Oscars. Like, and it just speaks to the fact that you never really know, right, in this world where our paths are going to take us. And whether your path has you on a stage again, which I hope for others, they will certainly have that opportunity. You'll have that opportunity because you really were brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And
thank you.
And if you find that path, then so be it. Now, you say currently it's not your career path. What do you envision for your future? What do you have an idea?
It's kind of what you expected, like a hustler. What I see myself as doing is like maybe to get a stable job, would like, if not any goes well. In my biography, it says like I like to debate. Ado, just saying. Well, I like to debate, and I'm good at it as well. And I could go to law school if I choose to, but like, I think that would be cool. But generally, I wouldn't want to do that. What I would want to do is like invest in the stock market, own real estate, stuff like that. Because that has interest, like finance has interested me a lot, and I've been spending a lot of my time that I should be doing schoolwork and researching in finance, which was my mom did not like. Definitely. But
can I ask a question? Is it finance that you like the concept or industry, or is it money that you like?
Probably money.
Okay. Like, I just want to be like, and here's the thing is that I think when you look at, and again, I'm not pushing you to be an actor, but that industry is entrepreneurial. And you've obviously demonstrated entrepreneurism like since you were hustling your aunt. Now, at some point, you'll have to stop crying about it, probably. Like, because the thing about entrepreneurship is so similar to that of in acting and in the arts, is that it is this hustle, right? And the thing is that there are going to be times where the hustle is going to pay off and other times it's not. And so just it's if I could offer anything, it's about being mindful of the fact that in those times that it's not, so either you don't get an audition or you have an idea for an entrepreneurial action and it doesn't play out, it is it's okay. It's 100% okay, because it's not ever about like at the core of who you are. Like, you don't get an audition, you don't get it, right? It is just
it is what it is.
It is what it is, right? All of these actors have gone to hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of auditions to get to where they are, right? And it is about, and it's actually a pretty perverse and gross process lots of the time. But at the end of the day, so is entrepreneurship. It's really gross sometimes because it's really a grind, right? There was a period, our little company here, we in a couple of years in, and I thought we were going to have to close the doors. And it was devastating. And thankfully, people rallied around us, right? They had our back and they stood alongside us. And within a couple of months, A plus B plus C, and here we are. And I say here we are because we survived a pandemic, right? For a company that is focused on face-to-face contact, that is built on spending, like sharing space with people, like we're still here and we're still kicking. And so that grind and that hustle, you clearly have that. So just be mindful that in the times where it's not happening like you might want it to, or you think it should, it just means that it needs another retool. I do want to quickly read this comment because it's more fun even than so Sissy, I'm glad you joined us tonight. I really am. And it is because Sissy says, sorry I'm late to the scene here, but is this young man Brennan's son? He does comment on the fact that they look the same. And
well, that's funny because like if when I was when I was younger, if I took like Manny and Brady the movies when they were really young, that's what people would think. They would like give me dirty looks and stuff and be like, oh, look at this brown single dad with these two kids.
little mini me's.
Yeah.
Many people would always say that I look like Brennan a lot when I was when I had my long hair.
Yeah. Well, it's awesome. It is. And now, are you guys in school online right now or in person?
Right now, I'm not on school, but in 2 days, we are going online for the week. And then hopefully after that, we're going in person.
And so how have you been enjoying the online schooling? How have you been experiencing that?
It's questionable because last time we did it was long time, was like 2 years ago. Sorry.
Can you hold that for 1 second?
Yep.
Get a guest call and
let's see here. Hold on a sec. Why, hello, Delia Tassel. Hi, I don't know if you're aware of this because even though you're one of my besties, you probably are unaware of the fact that we have this weekly show we've been doing for 2 years on Saturday, this very time. And so I'm pretty sure she's mortified. we now have another guest. We now have another guest from PEI, from Prince Edward Island, another maritimer here. How you doing, my love? Okay, so Delia, I would like you to meet some folks. I think, have you met Brennan? Oh, there's Brennan. Yeah, you know Brennan. And this is our guest tonight I'm going to angle you here so you can see Brady. That's Brady. That's Brennan's brother, who is a emerging actor. And in fact, do you know the Migma Stories at a PEI there, right?
Yeah.
So Brady starred in Migma Stories, past and present, in Nova Scotia.
Okay, so Riley Bernard from the Youth and Care Network, he is in them.
Yeah, so I don't know if you guys, there's in PEI, there's a Migma Stories as well, a play in production as well. And so so we know folks who are involved in that. But yeah, so you want to say hi to Brady and Brennan there, Delia?
I really like hair and makeup.
Can you guys hear him? Hear her?
no.
Oh, she was asking for hair and makeup now.
Oh.
There we go. There's the angle.
Oh my gosh, Peter.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No worries. It's lovely to have you. It is absolutely lovely to have you. Oh, and then she froze.
Wow.
You then froze. So why don't we chat at another time, my love, if that's all right?
Yeah, that sounds great. Nice to see you all.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.
That's funny.
Oh, goodness. That was awesome. Sorry, Brady.
Devastated.
I'm sure you were about to say something very pivotal. Oh, you were talking about school. Talking about several years ago, you did the online schooling.
Yeah, online school, it was questionable because I wasn't able to see friends or, and it was difficult for me to get work done because I didn't see home as the place to get work done. Because when I'm in school, that's when I get my work done, and it's very difficult to get it done not in school. And like online school, you couldn't ask questions. You couldn't see friends. Couldn't see friends was probably the worst part of it, which affected me, not being able to see friends every day and having to stay inside. But being able to contact them through social media and Xbox helped with that. But for other people that don't have that, it must have been very difficult for the mental health. And after about I'm gonna be honest, after about maybe like 2 weeks, 3 weeks of doing the work, I stopped doing it. I stopped doing the online schoolwork, which thankfully it didn't affect my grade and I didn't fail. So
thankfully.
God bless.
Well, thank you for sharing that, because I think these are the stories, these are the voices, your voice. The schools are shut down here again, of course. It's gone virtual here, and I think it's important. Parents, obviously, I'm not unaware of the challenge, and I can't even imagine actually having to be a teacher suddenly as a parent. Like, I can't even fathom what that process is like. And I was reading the other day the schedule of this woman's kindergarten student, her child who's in kindergarten, like doing it online. Like, it's mind-blowing to me. So it's important that parents are speaking out. But again, I just don't believe as a country we have actually talked to young people enough or in a meaningful way with the volume of young people to find out what is needed moving forward out of this pandemic. I just don't. So I raise my mug to you, my friend, because the reality is that what you and your peers are experiencing and doing is something that none of our generations who are still around can even appreciate. The level of difference, and so I hope at some point we really do listen to young people. I really hope that we create space for your voices to be heard when it moves from a pandemic to an endemic, which is my new learning today, which apparently is the goal. And where the endemic, meaning that it will be around, but it won't be where it's at today. And yeah, because I think your voice matters, and that's the beauty of, I think, as well, you in the entertainment industry, is for a young First Nations fellow like you to be able to be there. You might not know this, or maybe you do, but when you were in that production and your friends heard about or saw what you were doing, that matters. It matters that other young people see you being brave and courageous like you are. And so it is just so important that it's a lot of responsibility at times to be a role model, and it's not always fun, but it comes with the package about being a hustler and a leader. And you've got pretty decent DNA, like from generations of real powerful DNA you have, my friend. And I am thrilled that you were able to come and hang out with us tonight. Absolutely thrilled.
Thank you.
And Brennan, do you have any other questions for your brother, or really good stories? Or Brady, do you have any good PG but embarrassing stories of Brennan that you would want to share? I just put it out there.
I don't got much stories of Brennan because obviously he's older than me, but I think Brennan might have stories of me because he obviously experienced them, seeing me as a kid. But at the top of my head, I can't think of any stories. No.
The first thing I can think of is just when was Macy a puppy when you guys first took her for a drive in the truck, sitting in the back with you guys, and she got car sick and threw up on you, and you were like crying because she threw up in your lap.
When I look back at those stories, I just can't. It just brings a smile to my face and just think how funny it is.
You're such like a devastated kid. Like, you're just, as soon as, like, You like, yeah, you're just devastated. End of the world. So sad.
Oh goodness! I want to thank Kimmy D because she did put the link for the Halifax Theater for Young People there with the link to Migma Stories. Was that a good experience working with them, my friend?
Yeah, it was a great experience, especially great learning experience. I definitely learned a lot, and especially from our director Tessa, and from all the actors. I learned a lot from that great learning experience, and definitely improved my acting skill.
Well, awesome.
Greatly.
Okay, so I see that they are on their website. I see that they're, like many others, they're a charity. And so if what I would love to do, if you're open to it, if both of you are open to it, is maybe we can raise a little money for the Young People's Theater here. Does that sound all right?
That'd be awesome. Heck yeah.
But of course there's a cost, because now there's going to be some bragging rights between the brothers. So I might have happened to have found a series of Disney movie trivia.
Oh, wow.
What era? What era?
What era? It appears to be I don't know the answer. Mulan is in here. So is that recently?
I mean, yes, technically. The remake.
Coco?
Same story.
Oh, Star Wars. So I think it's recent. I think it's
To be fair, pretty much all of Disney's movies have been remade in the last decade or so. So
okay. So here's the deal. This is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna pick 10 of these questions, okay? 10 questions. And for each of your right answers, we will give $10 to the Halifax Theater Company, or Young People's Theater Company. Sound good?
Yep.
So let's see. You said you're one of the smarter kids in your class. You're grade A. So if we're doing 10 questions and $10, how much could we potentially donate to the theater company?
$100. 10 questions.
There you go. Good man. So your brother would have struggled with that question. So the
$1 billion.
Okay, so here we go. I need to hear your best buzzer noise, Brennan. Okay, what's your buzzer noise there, Brady? It sounded very similar to your brother's, but we'll give it a go. Okay, so first question. Are you ready? So you got to buzz to get to be able to be the one to answer. In Peter Pan, in order to fly, all you need is a little faith, trust, and what else, according to Peter?
Buzz.
Pixie dust.
Oh, look at that. Brady for the win. Holy
cut me off.
Oh, goodness.
Look
at that. Very
press the buzzer quicker, man.
Yeah. Tickler. Okay. In Finding Nemo, Dory suffers from what? Brady.
Short-term memory loss.
Holy Moses! Look at this. That's word for word. I wouldn't have even known that. I've never seen the movie. But okay.
I would have said amnesia.
Okay. Emperor Kuzco,
my guy,
turns into what animal in the Emperor's New Groove?
A llama.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
I don't even know what that movie is.
Emperor's New Groove. It's one of the best movies ever. It's based in Peru.
He's now, so Brennan's on the board, although trailing behind his younger brother. Okay. How many brothers does Prince Hans of the Southern Isles have in Frozen?
One.
Survey says. Brady?
4.
Okay, clearly, I don't know. Maybe you've never seen Frozen, either of you.
I forget.
12. 12 brothers. Wow. Okay, so this question, I believe, I could be mistaken, but I believe if neither of you get this right, your mother might disown you. I think it's possible. I truthfully don't know the answer.
Fair.
Okay, you ready? Your buzzer's ready? How many fingers does Mickey Mouse have? Brennan.
4.
There you go. 4, he has it. There you go. They're tied 2 apiece. Okay. Okay. Joy, fear, anger, disgust, and sadness guide whose emotions in Inside Out?
Is it Riley?
Riley for the win.
Let's go. Let's go.
So we're up to 5 we've got 5 out of 6, I think, right? So far. So we're up to $50. And Brady trails his older brother by 1. And okay, so that one seems okay. Who is Miguel's idol in Coco?
Oh, I didn't watch Coco.
Brady for the buzz.
I forget his name, but I know the guy. It's the dead guy with the who sings, who's the famous singer guy. What's his name?
It's not written that way here.
Elvis Presley.
Miguel?
Oh, say it again. What did you say?
Miguel?
Miguel's idol in Coco is Ernesto de la Cruz.
Yeah, I had no clue with that.
I was going to guess that.
Okay, we're going old school here. Old school. I'll double the wager here. $20 for this question if either of you get this question right. $20 for the Halifax Young People's Theater.
Is it worth 2 points?
Yes.
And it's worth 2 points. There you go.
Double up.
Who was Geppetto's pet in Pinocchio?
I don't know who Geppetto is.
Is it Fivero?
Say it
The
again.
cat? Is it Fivero, the cat?
Okay, so our friends at home, I need your help here. You say Fivero. It actually is Figaro.
Figaro! Oh, yes.
So we're going to leave it to the audience. At best, I don't think you can get the points. We're going to leave it to the audience if we should then give that as not for a point, but because it was close. Figaro versus Figaro. But, okay.
Maybe give him 1 point for that, since it was 2 points.
No points. He didn't get it right. I'm also edging for you there, bud. Like I'm trying to find a question for you. I never pretend that I'm not biased. In Toy Story 2, which character tells Buzz that he's his father?
Zurg.
There you go. Oh my goodness. We're up to $80 now. Okay, Brady.
I'm waiting for that Star Wars question, man.
Oh, okay. I didn't go down that road because your brother kind of is a little bit obsessed. But here we go. Let's see. Where did that Star Wars question go? I saw it here somewhere. Star Wars, Star Wars, Star Wars. I think that's a brave move.
Bold play.
It is a bold play. Okay.
The Hail Mary.
Okay, you ready? If you're under 20, this question is worth 3 points.
That's fair.
If you're under 20.
So this is an original trilogy question.
I don't know the answer to that question.
Okay, that's my assumption.
Right.
Well, if you're under 20, then you wouldn't. Yeah, anyways, continue.
Which planet do guests visit in Star Wars Galaxy's Edge?
I was literally watching videos on it yesterday. I'm so mad at myself.
Is that the new park?
Last night. Yeah, it is in Disney. And is it Navarro?
No.
No, that's not it. Are you talking about like which rod, the planet or like?
I have no idea.
Park?
I don't know what this question is in reference to at all. I just have the answers.
Take a wild guess. Tatooine. I got nothing.
Now I wouldn't have remembered that, but that'd been my only guess. So Batu.
Oh yes, Batu. Obviously,
we're at $80. The audience has the audience has spoken. Brendan's res accent made him say Favaro.
Exactly.
EJ says he got the cat right. So there you go. The dollars will go. Okay. Here is so we raised $80. I'm going to ask you a bonus question here. And if
wait, what was the answer to the last question?
Batu.
Oh, right, Batu.
Okay. I'm going to ask one last question, and this question, if one of you can get it right, we will match the donation and contribute it to the to Bearskin Lake First Nation. And yeah, so sound good?
Yep.
Don't feel any pressure at all. That is -40, and they need wood. But so
if I get this wrong, I'm basically taking money away from First Nations people in need.
Exactly.
That's what you're saying.
Pretty much, yeah.
Just need to know what's at stake.
For those of you at home, Brennan and Brady can't hear me, but just so you know, obviously we're making the donation regardless.
Peter, you're on mute. I can't hear you. What are you saying?
Brennan and Brady that though, but of course we're going to do that regardless. Okay, we're back. So we just took a little commercial break, so you guys, sorry about that. Okay, so who was the first cartoon character to get a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame?
Mickey Mouse.
For the win! There you go. He wins. There we go. Awesome, gentlemen. Awesome. So
I mean, if it was the Disney trivia, then it had to be Disney. So
yeah, no, that's an excellent call. I would have never even known that in a million years. And your mother's fan status and family stat. I think it's not just your mom though. I think it's all of you. Actually, all of you. Your family, your Disney family. So it just seems to make sense. And Mello says, I'm going to send a donation to Bearskin First Nation on behalf of my boys. So there we go. Excellent.
Well, I guess
so. And gentlemen, Brady, we generally wrap up the show each week with we generally wrap up each show with just a sort of last words, closing thoughts, a message you want to share with anyone who's watching. And it's always different. And so for an example, I think one of the things that I would share, like as to end the day, is I think people need to see this. And again, it was part of the package that was shared with us, so it's free to share. Is that you are clearly the cutest person who has ever been on our show. Like, oh my goodness gracious.
You were wedding security at someone's wedding. Like, this was him dressed up as security for someone's wedding.
Yeah, one of the janitor at the daycare was getting married, and that was the ring security for them.
That is awesome. And again, it just speaks to the character you have and the personality you have, which is just so amazing. Lana says, this is by far the best show you've done. These strong, amazing, inspiring males, 3 beautiful smiles. Thank you, Peter, Brennan, and Brady, for a fun and phenomenal show. Love and hugs to all. And right back at you, Lana. The reality is that we're blessed and privileged to be able to be here and have support. And yeah, so Brady, any final thoughts you want to share with the world?
I just want to say thank you, Peter, for bringing me on the show. And it was fun. Thank you.
It was really your brother. I protested, but
thank you,
so I'm glad it worked out. Yeah, and it was awesome to have you, pal. It really was. It really was fantastic. Brennan, closing thoughts?
Oh, just thank you for coming on, and thank you for being courageous and sharing yourself, your medicines and your gifts with us and the world. And that goes for you and Maddie both. Both of my brothers are just super amazing. So just just want to say thank you to both of you guys. Well,
no problem.
Yeah, I think we need to get your dad and Maddie still on the show, and they're the next in the lineup. Here's the thing about life, right? Is that life is like an audition, really, right? You put your best out there. You try to be what you need to be in a moment, but driving it from who you are, right? Every actor takes on a role and they're playing someone else, but really at the core of it, it's their spirit that's driving that forward, right? And that's what we do in life. And the beauty of it is that we don't have to do it alone. We get to be able to have our people surround us. And like life, or like auditions, life is the same, is that there are going to be times where we take hits and we feel down, or we feel excluded or cut out or left out, or bitter that we didn't get this opportunity or whatever. But the reality is that there's always tomorrow, right? And there really is. And so going back to the very beginning of the conversation tonight about who is the person that you would call and how do you call, and if you're struggling in this world, it is still very challenging. There's a lot of frustration. There's a lot of anxiety. Talk to people about it. And we don't have to argue about it. It doesn't matter what your take is around COVID. If you've got the feels because of it, talk to someone. Don't rage. Don't get intense. Don't just talk about how you're feeling. Because the reality is that once we do that, it's good medicine. It's how we heal. And if we get to, in the path of life, that moment where the audition doesn't go the way we want, there's always tomorrow. And there really is, as a rule of thumb. So remember that no one is it doesn't matter if we get what we want, need all the time. You still matter in this world. You're so important in this world, and you certainly belong. And Brady, tonight you certainly belonged here in our space, and we're so grateful you were here. And Brennan, as always, it is a highlight of the week, without a doubt. And my friends, until we see you next Saturday, and again, anyone watching, let me know if you want to be a producer of this show, because we're hiring. I don't know what a producer does yet. I haven't actually Googled what that looks like. It's really a hard thing to find what a producer of a sort of podcast, sort of live show is. So if you're interested, get a hold of us and help turn some of the ideas Brennan and I have into action. And until then, my friends, Miigwech, big thank you to all of you. Stay safe, wear a mask, wash your hands, be kind to one another. It's just that simple in this world. And Bamapi, we will see you next Saturday. Bye-bye.
Yes, well, Maltas.